start. Someone is recording, Asha?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, done. Okay. So, hi all. My name is Pooja Verma, and I'll be conducting and taking this chapter called Problem Solving. So, it's a very simple and very logical lesson which we all use it in our day-to-day life. So, it's nothing big to understand, but yeah, how to put the right words and how to differentiate between different types of problems, what are the obligations or problem comes to get a solution, is what we are going to study in this lesson. Okay, so let's move on to the next slide, which is an introduction. So when we talk about problem is a mental process which involves discovering and analyzing, and with that we get into the solving the problem. It also requires goals. What are the goals? Its goal is to overcome obstacles and to find a solution. That is what we call as a problem. That is what we call as a solving a problem. Is this the best way according to you? Say, for example, I'll give you a small thing for you to think. Imagine that there is a coin which you are putting it, which I have put it in a glass bottle, and I have closed it with the cork. Okay? How will you take out the coin from the bottle without removing the cork out and without breaking the bottle? So you guys can on your mic and you can put your inputs upon how you are going to remove the coin from the bottle. Anyone would like to try solving this small problem of taking out the coin from the bottle?
Yeah, I can.
Yes, please. Yeah. Yes, Naveen.
I'll stop imagining.
That's a too shortcut. You need to take out the coin, sir.
Oh,
I want my coin back. Imagine it's a gold
Oh.
coin and I want my coin back. So how will you take out the coin?
a little bit
See.
challenging.
Yeah, see how your process is going. You're imagining a bottle, right? You're imagining a bottle with a cork and a gold coin inside. Yeah, somebody was telling something. Somebody was trying to tell something. I'm sorry I missed out. Anybody wants to try how to take out the coin? Okay, let me give you the solution. So, if we push the cork inside the bottle, okay, and we shake the bottle upside down, the coin will automatically comes out, right? So this is the thing which this particular chapter is all talking about. It is giving you a different perspective on how to solve a problem. What are the steps included in solving a problem? Let's move on to the next slide, which is definition of problem solving. Now we have heard so many psychologists like Simon, Stemberg, then Skinner, then Maslow. We have heard a lot of psychologists. So different psychologists have different definitions on problem solving. So according to Simon and Stemberg, it is goal-driven process to overcome obstacles that obstruct the path of a solution. So here what he says is there has to be the proper goal. Many at times it happens that people are not sure what is their goal. Their imagination is waving into too many directions. So you need to stream down to a proper goal. Another scholar called Woodsworth and Marquis, they said problem solving behaviors occurs in novels where solution is not habitual method by applying concept but derived from the past experience in similar situations. So for example, if you have read any novel or something, we start imagining. Say for example, this example which I gave you in the starting of the lesson, I told you it's a glass bottle, there is a cork, there is a gold coin, I want the coin back. How will you do? You started imagining. If you have already, solved this riddle, you will start thinking, oh, somebody else had also asked me similar kind of thing. So let me think, sorry. So let me think, what did I tell them? So your imagination went into the past. So according to Woodsworth, it is depending on your past experience in the similar situation. Skinner says that problem solving is a process of overcoming difficulties that appears to interfere with the attainment of a goal. So we focus on what is coming in between to achieve a goal. So it's adjustment in spite of interference. So we try to adjust different things. Say for example, I'll give you my own example. I wrote the first exam of our MSc first year, semester exams. First paper, when I wrote the exam after almost like 30 years. And my hand was not moving. By the time I came to the 10 marks questions, writing the answers, I could not write it. The speed was not that much. So I felt that there is some problem in me in analyzing and figuring it out how I have to plan in writing the exam. So then I realized, okay, let me write the hardest part first. So in the next paper, RM paper, I started writing the 10 marks answers first, so that when I have the right strength, I can do the maximum of writing. And then subsequently, so I started going backward. So it helped me in achieving the goal, which is like finishing the whole paper, right? So these three scholars gave different definitions of problem solving. Moving on to the next slide. There are various steps. So as I told you, there are when there is a problem, we always figure it out. Okay, now there is a problem. From where do we start thinking about how to solve it? Human nature is like that, that when a problem comes, people will start thinking about, okay, this is the problem. They spend more time in thinking about the problem rather than solving it. So when we talk about the steps of solving it, the first step is to identify what is the problem and what do we see. What is the problem? That means we engage in a problem solving when we need to answer a question or overcome an obstacle or to achieve a goal. So these three are the small parameters where you can understand what is the problem. So first is, what is the question? What is the exact question or a problem? Then, is it something where you are trying to overcome from obstacles, or are you trying to achieve a goal? So if we get a solution out of the past experience and old memories, then it's good. Then we know how to solve the problem. But if we don't have any experience, then this cycle helps us step by step how to process and how to solve the problem. Okay, so these 7 steps, first step is identifying the problem. Identify the problem. Different people will differently to any problem. As I told you, certain people looks at the problem as a big problem. but other people may not feel it's that big problem. Like, anyone would like to share any examples? Like, for example, I don't know driving, okay, but a lot of people, compares and they says, no, you should know driving, it is good, you will be independent, you will be able to move around, you will have your own pace, your own time, your own luxury. But for me, I don't think it's a problem, because when I go in cabs or autos, I feel it's more safer rather than me driving, which I'm not that confident, though I know driving, but I don't drive. But for me, it is not a big problem. So there is different ways of looking at a problem by different people. Okay. So first thing is, first let's find out what is the problem. For you, it may not be a big problem, but for me, it might be a big problem. So different people varies the frequency of the problem. The second one is problem. What is the definition of a problem and its representation? So once you find out what is the problem, think on how to solve it. For example, when we are writing the exam paper, we get all the information. Some people write it in paragraphs, some people write it in points, some people write it in point and explain each point. So every person has their own strategies and their own ways of doing or solving the problem and representing it. How you are presenting it also matters. Okay, so the second is definition. Third comes is the strategy or investigate. Strategical information or investigate. So to solve a problem, that is by breaking down problem into manageable elements. For example, uh, there is a if there is a problem, we need to break it into small things. Say, for example, a person wants to shift the house. So to shift the house, first he already got the house. The house is ready for him to shift. If he has to shift the house, first he has to find out packers and movers. Then he has to look for the packing things, packing material, or at times if you want to cut down on the package cost, like movers and packers cost, you get cartons, you can wrap up your own things according to your own, comfortability. And the packers and movers will take the things step by step, like first shift the delicate items, then the wooden furnitures, then the beds, the cots, then the crockery, then kitchen. So we go step by step. Okay, so we break down the problem of shifting the house into steps. So with that, we are able to solve the problem to shift the house in a comfortable way. The third comes as organization of information or analyzing it. When we say analyzing it, yeah, so by integrating all the relevant information in a strategical way that you believe you need, like I told you, like the example which I just shared, shifting the house. So we do it in a strategical way, that we need to first shift the delicate items first. So probably I do it like that. I carry those delicate crockery and everything in a separate car or separate with me whenever I'm making a trip over there. So that it does not get break and I don't get to lose those things. So these are certain strategies. People fail to solve problems because they fail to fit together. When I say fit together, which means suppose if you need to organize information, you need to learn, you will outline your ideas on how to do that thing. Okay, for example, if you have to reach a particular place, say for example you want to go to Goa, okay, you will be thinking about which map, which road, which route will be easier and comfortable, isn't it? So basically you are analyzing it and then coming to a solution. Next is a resource allocation. When I talk about resource allocation, that means where, from which are the resources? The resources like time, money, equipment, energy, space, these are the resources. So when there is a problem, we need to think about all these 4 5 resources. Some people need time, some people need resources. So it all depends on person to person. So if we need to, we should know when to allocate what. We can't say that now tomorrow is the exam, I don't have time right now. So we can't do like that. We have to put our time and resources at whenever time it is required. We need to put those resources at that particular time. Next comes as monitoring and implementing. Monitoring means you need to see whether problem solver checkup or themselves all doing it, whether whatever resources we are using it, is it making any difference, or is it allowing us to reach to our goal. So we need constant monitoring in that. And then the last one is evaluation or confirmation. Did the problem go away? That means by doing all these steps, have we really overcome from that problem? Is what is the last step, which is a confirmation or evaluation. So in problem solving, when they ask these are the certain steps, we all follow it. There is no order as such. Every person's order is different. Whatever comes, you can apply it at the same time. Moving on to the next topic, which is types of problems. Now, there are two types of problems. One is a well-defined problem and another one is a ill-defined problem. There are two types of problems. So, a well-defined problem is one where the goal is clear stated, where we are clear that our goal is to clear MSc Psychology, right? So the rule and constraints are known and there is defined path. So our path is to study whatever material we have got, and with that resources we need to clear. Method to reach to the solution. As I said, our methods and resources are with us. So here, well defined means there will be a single problem. It's only one problem. Okay, that is the main difference between well defined and ill defined. I'll come to that in the next slide, not now. So these problems are structured in such a way that they can usually be solved using a set process or algorithm, which happens mostly in maths. As I have given an example, in a well defined problem in maths equation, such as 2x plus 5 is equal to 135x plus 5. So in this case, the problem has a clear starting point and a specific goal, which is what is the value of x. So when we know if we know the method, we can easily find out what is the value of x. So this type of clear method and solution for one particular thing is called well-defined problem. The next, which is in the next slide, which is ill-defined problem. Now, ill-defined in contrast with well defined, lacks one or more of these clear elements. That means either the method is not clear or the problem is not clear. Okay, as it is written, the goal may be vague, the rule or constraints may not be well specified, and there might not be a single correct solution or clear solution path. Say, for example, when a teenage comes, they are so confused on which career they want to choose, because now with so many multiple options, the youth is highly confused. You have multiple choices in accounts or or accounts department. You have multiple choices in science. You have multiple choices in humanities. Apart from that, there are so many other things also. So they are not clear on which path they need to choose. That type of problem is called ill-defined problem. So these problems often require creativity, intuitions, or judgment to address. So some things are driven by ourselves, our intuitions. We feel that, yeah, we call it as sixth sense mostly. That is what is intuition, which is similar to intuitions. So many a times it happens that we feel that, yeah, somebody is going to come, and at that particular time somebody actually comes. So those are intuitions. For example, designing a better user interface for a mobile app, an ill-defined problem, because what counts as better can vary depending on user preference. Yeah, so basically whatever is better for us may not be good for other. Okay, so a well-defined problems are clear and structured, whereas an ill-defined problems are open-ended and very often complex. Okay, so these are the basic differences. Coming to a very, in a compiled way, if you want to differentiate between well-structured problem or well-defined problem to ill-defined, these are the four criteria where it says well defined is easier to develop, ill defined is more difficult to arrange. In well defined, student or people are clear to appropriate response. Ill defined, there are more than one ways to solve it. And examples, as I showed, maths word problem or web quest. And in ill defined, it is ecology issues in community. Like, as I said, what we see as a problem may not be a problem for the other person. All right, moving on to the next topic, which is methods of problem solving. Now there are multiple methods. Out of that, the first method is trial and error. This happens very often, and we all goes through the same process. Like, as I give you my example of learning driving, there was a lot of trial and errors. The wheel was going in different direction, the gear was not putting it in the right, in the right way. Instead of first gear, I was putting third gear. So it happens. Only by trial and error we learn. So how do we define? Trying different solution randomly or sequentially until one work. Like, when children are small, when they are starting to go to primary schools or kindergarten, they are taught to do some writing work. So in the writing, some children write a very clear and a neat A, the alphabets, whatever they are taught. But other children, maybe the other child may not be able to write the same way. So with that child who is not able to write, the teacher is giving extra time, extra energy, extra focus, so that by trying again and again and again, they will come to a perfection. This is the most basic strategy. As I told you, it doesn't need a structure. For example, you are trying to open and combine lock, right? So if you don't know or you have forgotten the number key lock, you will keep trying whatever possible ways. Okay, so there are pros and cons of all the steps or all the methods. So its pros is it's useful when there are limited options. The con is it's time consuming. So when you don't have much time, you can't use trial and error because it is time consuming, right? So these are the pros and cons of the first method, which is trial and error. Moving on to the second one, which is algorithms. Algorithms are basically step-by-step logical procedures that guarantees a solution. For example, the mathematical problems. There are certain formulas which we need to follow to come to a proper solution. Like I gave you an example of finding the value of x. So there are particular methods. So algorithms are systematic and often used in maths and computer science. Again, there are pros and cons. They always lead to the correct answers. Obviously, because whenever you are following the formula, it is guaranteed that you will get a 100% correct answer if you are following the proper formula. Cons is it can be slow and it can be impractical for complex or real life problems. So it happens that it might take slow, like say for example losing weight. Losing weight is a slow process. So to lose weight you need to do a lot of things. You need to cut down on your fat, you need to follow a particular diet, you need to do lot of exercises, you need to do breathing. There are multiple ways to solve the problem of weight loss. So it has its own pros and it has its own cons. Moving on to the next one, which is heuristics. So its definition is its mental shortcuts or rules, or we call it as thumb rules, that helps solving a problem faster. Okay, through not always accurate, but it does not come accurately. It simplifies decision making by focusing on most likely solution. Like as I gave you an example, if you need to go to Goa, what is the shortest and what is the safest route? So when we talk about safest and fastest, we think about how many highways are there, because highways, the roads will be good, the traffic will not be that much because it's paid. Then the the potholes or the condition of the roads or the traffic, all that we calculated, right? Another example here I have put is when the grocery shopping, when we go for grocery shopping, we choose the brand. Okay, we usually buy whatever we see it. Like in TV, we see a lot of advertisements coming, like washing machine or washing powder, washing liquid, face cream, soaps. So we, because it happens that human mind is like that, whatever we visually see, it starts storing in our mind. So we unknowingly we fall for those products which we have seen often. Okay, so its pros is it's fast and it's practical, and its con is it can lead to error or bias. So like we have seen an advertisement of a particular cream, but when we use it, it may not suit us. It might have chemicals. We don't know, because everybody use different products. We don't know what suits whom. So everything, as I said, has pros and cons. Moving on to the next one, which is analogy. So analogy is basically solving a new problem by applying the solution of a similar previous solved problem, which is like in your past you have had your experience with the similar problem which you are having at present. So this requires your recognition and a similar structure between current and past, right? So if you have already made a trip to Goa, you know which is the right route. So somehow you will follow the same route, or you will get the information through your friends, through your family, or whoever has made recent trip to Goa or to whatever place is your destination. Okay, so its pros is it's helpful in new situations, like instead of Goa you are going to some other place. It will help you in planning and analyzing how to reach to the other destination. And its cons is it can fail if the analogy is inappropriate. So if you are it happens many a times when you follow Google to reach to a destination, many a times it has happened that it shows you a different and a longer route, whereas you actually know the right route, but you don't want to, you doubt yourself, and you feel no, whatever Google map is showing, it might be right. So you take that route, and it happens that that route or that choice or that decision of following Google somewhere takes more time, more money to reach to the destination. Okay, this was the fourth one. Then the next one is insight. Insight is a sudden realization, like intuition, as I said, the moment, where the solution seems to be popped into your mind, like you knew, it's something like I knew that. It happens with most of the children when they go for writing the exam. So it happens like when they are discussing the answers among their friends, it happens that they knew the answer, but they wrote wrong answer. So it happens very often, even with us also it happens. So it's unlike trial and error, it's a step-by-step method, insight in immediate and often feels like breakthrough. Okay, like for example, you are stuck on a riddle for hours, suddenly while doing something else, the answer, yeah, for example, uh, I'll give you my example. I had kept the car key somewhere and I forgot about it. When I'm working in the kitchen, I'm just thinking about that particular image. Where did I keep the key? So while working in the kitchen, probably for some time, I would have come over from that thought of thinking about the key. And when I'm eating, suddenly it pops it into my mind that, oh, I have kept it near this particular thing. So those are the insights, those are moments. So its pros is it can be fast and it can be creative, and its cons is it's unpredictable and can't be forced. It just comes out. You can't predict it. It just comes out just like that. So to summarize these five uh, types of things, we can say trial and errors are repetitive, they are slow, and they are medium. Algorithm is step by step. These are the shortcuts for you to remember, so that when you're writing about it in exam, you can always expand, you can always talk about it in detail. Okay, so yeah, then comes, yeah, so it is a shortcut based, it is fast, its speed is fast, medium, like choosing familiar brands, like when we go for shopping, we want to buy either, should which shampoo do we buy? Should we buy Sunsilk, or should we buy Head and Shoulder? So that time we will think about which one to buy, what we have seen, what are the advantages shown on the TV, what it helps. We'll go into all those things. Analogy is comparative. It is, the speed is medium, speed in the sense of solving the speed. Okay, and accuracy is how accurate it will be. And then Insight is, it is all the sudden thoughts which just pops it into your head, which is fast, and this accuracy is high. Okay, so it's a quick recap on the summary table of what are the types of problem solving. Next comes impediments or barriers to problem solving. In our book, they have given some 3-4 problem solving or barriers. So when there is a problem, there are certain things which stops us to solve that problem. So we'll discuss about what are those problems. I hope I'm not going fast because it's a very short lesson. As I told you, it's very practical lesson. Okay, so the first thing is confirmation bias. So by confirmation bias, that means the tendency to look for or interpret information in a way that confirms one's preconception. That means we know, yeah, this is a problem. Okay, for example, a manager believes a specific employee is unproductive. But when they review project results, they focus only on the tasks that were delayed, ignoring tasks that employees completely ahead of schedule. So when a manager sees an employee that he is not good or unproductive, they just come to the conclusion or they review the things, whether he is following it, how quick he is, whether his focus is there, and then their myth of the employee that he is unproductive moves away, okay, or shades away. The second one is functional fixation. What do you mean by functional fixation? That means seeing objects or tools only in one direction. Like it happens most of the time, our older generation or our grandparents, they like to follow a particular set of things like traditions, and they don't like changes in their tradition because they feel that is the right way. Okay, but the youth or the present generation, Gen Z, we feel the idea is to complete the particular, a particular tradition or a particular process. So we do shortcuts and we try to finish all the things faster. So everything depends on what is the exact traditional use, rather than considering alternative functions. Here I have given an example where a person needs to open a door but only looks for the door stops, not realizing that they could use a heavy book instead of a door stopper, right? It happens that we always look for a door stopper. If there is no stop, there is no door stopper, we think, we can't stop the door. But we need to think about how to stop the door to close. Moving on to the next thing, which is mental set. What is mental set? Mental set is relying on previously successful strategies which were proven, which helped us in solving the problem. For example, a teacher always uses lectures to teach, even though students now learn better through interactive tools or through videos, like how the present generation is. Now, the trend of sending the children for tuitions is gone, because now you have resources available in your home, at your computer or laptop, where you can see, you can search different variety of videos in different languages. So the resources are now streamlined and you have tools to overcome from those problems. Next is lack of information. So when making decisions without complete or accurate data, So when we don't have the proper information, we intend to make harsh or wrong, you know, uh, solution. We come to a wrong or a inappropriate decision. For example, a product term launches a new feature without checking user feedback and later finds out it wasn't needed or wanted. It happens with most of the startups. When people do their startups, they look for launch, they look for more people to join their company, but they forget to fail to see the feedback. They will not look into what feedback the other people are giving. Like it happens mostly in the social media, where there are YouTubers, where there are podcast peoples who are talking online, who are making podcast reels. So that is the current trend, but they are not looking at the feeds. There are positive feeds and there are negative feeds. So if you want to be consistent or you want to be successful, you need to look at the feedbacks and you need to learn out of it and overcome from that. Next is emotional barriers. So when I talk about emotional barriers, it has fear, anxiety, or frustration, how to come out from it. So when we see a problem, we either feel furious about it, we get angry, or we get scared of it. For example, a student panics during a math exam. This happens very often when my daughter was small. The moment that she hears that or she realizes that tomorrow is the maths exam, she will start, really getting scared. She will start complaining about stomachache. She will say, my head is not working, I'm having headache, I'm having nausea. So all these things I have personally experienced. So how I have helped her to overcome is, I told her it's okay, it is natural, it happens. So how to overcome, I started making her solve math problems often. I gave her starting with 2 problems a day. Then gradually I increased the intensity to 5 problems. Now 10 problems. So gradually, the more problems she solved, she started gaining more confidence. And when she got the confidence, currently, touchwood, she doesn't have the fear of having the maths as a exam. Now she's enjoying maths as a paper. She's enjoying writing the paper maths because she knows how to enjoy and solve the problem because she's confident, she has practiced that much. So we need to learn how to overcome from those fears, anxiety, and frustrations. Moving on to the last 4 points, which is group thinking. So basically, what do you mean by group thinking? The desire for group harmony override realistic appraisals or alternatives. Say, for example, there is a problem in the family. In the family, you are with your parents, with your in-laws, with your relatives. So if the problem is, say for example, a problem of looking for an alliance for a girl or a boy, so the family sits together, they start discussing about those topics, and they start looking for their options, which are the ways or which are the uh, ways where they can look for the solution. They will put in those matrimonial sites, or it's a word of mouth. So group thinking really helps in solving the problem, and it also helps in realizing and coming over from those emotional stress. So if only the parent are talking about their child's alliance, then the parents are getting stressed and they are getting emotionally uh, overwhelmed. But when they are discussing the same problem with the family, their uh, emotional stress will also reduce, because they get confirmation from other people. They get motivated that yes, something will definitely happen. When the right time will come, the right things will fall in the right place. Then overconfidence. Being overly sure of one's knowledge or skill can lead to underestimating the problem. So it happens in most of the, we feel that it happens with Indian cricket team. I'm just giving you an example. Don't take it to your heart, okay? Just an example. We feel that, yeah, Indian team, just because they have won the last match, now they have become overconfident, and in that they have lost. Many people come to these type of thinking, but we don't know what is the exact reason for them to think, or what is the exact reason of them to lose the match. So we should not overthink or overconfident about our own skills and knowledge. You know about it, good for you. Don't boost on it. For example, an entrepreneur skips market research. An entrepreneur or a salesperson, he feels that, yeah, I can easily get the customers, I can easily sell my product, assuming that their business ideas will succeed because they are sure. But at times they may fail also. At times it might happen that instead of their product, the customer is buying from some other vendor. So you should never be overconfident or boost on your knowledge or your skill. Then comes time pressure. Time pressure is limited time can lead or rush to a poor decision making. Okay, so you need to strategize your time so that you come to the right conclusion. But it doesn't mean that you waste your time in, that you take the decision in hurry burry, and that leads to a poor decision making. You should never do that. For example, a company has only one day to decide on a vendor, so they pick up the first or available vendor, ignoring the long terms and cost and risk. So what happens? The productivity, the profit, everything goes down of the company. Then comes resistance to change. You should never be reluctant not to try new things. Again, this happens with the I would say the senior citizens, because they feel their way is the right way. But now the time is changing, so we need to adapt new ideas. There are ways, like, I'm not so tech savvy, so when I don't know certain things, I approach my daughter, because I feel she has better knowledge, she has better ideas, and she has better methods to help me out. Okay, and the last one is poor communication. It happens many a times with the couples, with the families, with the parents, where there's a misunderstanding or unclear information, which leads to the conflicts, to the fights. Okay, and it is ineffective collaboration. It doesn't help us out, rather it creates more problem. For example, a team misinterprets a client's instruction due to vague words and delivered the wrong product. You would have seen there are similar looking word but has a different meaning. So we should be having a clear communication, so that our focus is more on how to solve the problem rather than making it as a conflict. Okay, so this was my lesson of problem solving. So thank you so much. I hope I wasn't rushing up. It was simple, it was easy. because actually the problem is the lesson is super easy. So if you want a quick recap or a summary, I can do a quick recap or I can summarize. So first comes is what is the, you know, what is a problem, how to analyze this is a problem. So it's, we need to discover, we need to analyze. Okay. And there is no one way in solving the problem, right? Then there are different definitions, different psychologists have different definitions. We spoke about 3 or 4 different scholars who gave different definitions. Then comes steps involving in problem solving, how to solve a problem. There are 7 steps: identify, define, investigate, analyze, solve, implement, and confirm. Okay, so there are 7 steps of solving a problem. Then I spoke about types of problems. 2 types of problems. One is well defined, another one is ill structured. Well structured or ill structured, or well defined or ill defined, you can write anything. So well defined is easier, ill structured is more difficult to arrange. And here it is clear about appropriate response. Here there are, in ill structured there are more than one ways to solve it. And then I spoke about methods of problem solving, where there are 5 methods: trial and error, algorithm, heuristic, analogy, and insight. Okay, so we spoke about 5 types of problem solving. Then impediments, or there are barriers which hinders us in solving a problem. So in that I spoke about confirmation bias, then functional fixation. Then comes mental set. What is your mental set? How do you see a problem? Lack of information. Then emotional barriers. Then in that we have group thinking, overconfidence, then time pressure, resistance to change, and last is poor communication. These are the barriers which hinders us in solving the problem. Okay, so this was the lesson of problem solving. Anybody wants to add any inputs?
Hello, ma'am. This is Sulaiman, ma'am.
Yes, Sulaiman.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, there is one movie example.
Yes.
For steps to be followed for problem solving. I don't know how many of them have watched that movie. It's a 3 BHK.
The recent
3
one.
Yeah, the recent one.
Acha. Okay.
Okay. The problem is actually it's a family. It's a middle or lower middle class family. Okay. So that family, it's they are having a problem of frequently changing the house. Yeah. So they have to be inside the city, and the thing is the house owners too many too many conditions they put for staying in, and they have to inform before coming or going. So many conditions they put. So because of that, the family will not be comfortable. So they have to frequently change the house also for the rent reason. Okay, so this is the problem actually they face. Okay, then they come to a solution, that is how to solve this problem. So the girl who's a smarter kid actually, so what what she says is, this is our problem, so how we solve it. So she says, we'll find a house. It happens in the 2004 kind of a period. Okay. So they put the year actually. So that way they look at outer area like Pallavaram. That period Pallavaram is the outer area. Okay.
Correct.
So Pallavaram. So that period they look at it and they see a house which they say it's constructing house. So it is not yet finished. Unfinished house. They are about to finish it. So that house, they look at it and they say, hey, it is a 15 lakhs house. Okay, so then they say, oh my God, it's 15 lakhs. He's a normal employee and other 2 kids are studying. And she's a housewife, the women. Okay, so they said how to solve it. So they have identified the problem. I mean, they have identified the problem and they have a solution. But how to arrive at it? Yeah.
Correct.
So so then they organize the things like this is 15 lakhs. So how much we have? So father says I have 7.5 lakhs. So then how do we arrive? Then women says I have jewelry, so we can put it for a loan and we can get another 3.5 lakhs. Okay. Then they say balance. How do we do? So we have 1 year. We'll take a time. And balance we have to manage it. So he says 10,000 I can manage every month. So that's how they arrive. And she is also says I can also cook some snacks and we can sell it off. So that way they finally put a chart and everybody follows it. So that is how they come to a problem solving solution.
Correct.
So
beautiful
it's
example.
steps.
Yeah, exactly. So they broke down the problem. Then they started jotting down, as I said, strategize or analyze. So
yes.
exactly. So it's a human
So
nature. So
yes.
they did
So
not think
that's
about problem as a big problem. They focused on
yes.
the solution.
Yeah. If we properly sit and to a problem, focus on a problem, so we can always get to a solution. So so that is the thing.
Only thing is,
Another
when we see a problem, we get emotionally driven and our emotions are not able to make us come out from the problem and think on the solution.
Correct, ma'am.
That is
Actually, so the main person of the family is the father.
Okay.
Even though he doesn't have that idea, the kid's idea he has taken it up. So that is he has no ego in saying that it's a kid's idea.
Absolutely.
So that idea, so she was she has given the idea and they have all are following it. So that's a good one. So that is what the concept is all about.
But you tell me, if we give the same idea to our parents or to our grandparents, do you think they will take it?
It is up to us how we put it. So if they are convinced about our idea, and if you are able to convince in a proper way and in their own kind of understanding, so it is very much possible that we can convince them.
Yes, but the chances and the statistics says that they accepting our idea was less. First of all, they will not discuss the problem itself with us. That was the mindset earlier.
Very true.
Now the generation is like that we discuss everything openly in front of our children, because that openness has come. That is why the solutions are also coming from. So that's a wonderful example you have given. Yes, Naveen.
But finally, they don't buy the house. That is a different thing.
Okay, I have not seen.
This is.
We have already told me the story.
Yes. Okay, ma'am. Okay, just giving an example. That's it.
Yes,
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, Naveen sir.
Hi, ma'am. So since when you started this problem solving about 7 codes, I just remembered the Buddha's history.
Okay.
So he has introduced the 7 codes about the life.
Yes.
So immediately I just compared with that, and also that is also an example where Buddha starts before his speech. What he thought is that what is stopping me on preaching the others, and he identified the first problem is his health. So if he's getting any health issues, he will not be able to concentrate or read or sleep or walk. He's not able to. So he identified his problem as a first problem as a health, and first he uh, prepared his body and health in a standard way. So the first problem is solved. So he did not get any health issues in future. So what is next? So what is next? This is what he identified the problem one by one, and he had told his preach spread it throughout the world.
Correct.
So it is like inner peace, but again you can just relate to the problem solving, right understanding, thought, speech, action, livelihood, effort, mindfulness, and concentration.
True.
So
Absolutely.
yeah, we can apply to the practical as well.
Yes.
Not only your thing, but again, I take Buddha as an example.
Very nice.
If you read, thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. I have read Buddha and Buddha's book Buddhism. So it is a very deep and a very interesting topic to read about.
Very, very interesting. Yeah.
Yes.
Really.
Yes. Thank you so much, Nali. Thank you for your inputs. Any other person would like to add on or want to share your experience of solving any problem? Okay, so I think with this we can finish our class.
Okay, ma'am. Yeah.
Thank you so much, all of you, for coming and listening to me. Thank you so much. Namaste to all.
Thank you all. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Namaste.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Thanks a lot, ma'am.